on a hill above the sea. Power in the voice of a supporter. But it all amounts to nothing. Together we don't sing. There's power when we're not OIC. San Diego forever. Old Town, Stingery. Valley and mountain, chaparral to the sea. And the colors of our rainbow, sunset, orange, Tory, green. There's power when we're not OIC. SC loyal forever. Some great North County. Desert to islands. Get back on you and me. All our voices strong together as we cheer on our team. There is power when we're not OIC.
Welcome to the Loyal Locals podcast. I am your host, Andrew Dyer. For the next 30 minutes or so, maybe an hour, we will delve into everything you need to know as a supporter of your San Diego Loyal. Something that has a bit of an expiration date at this point. I don't think we have to belabor the impending death of our club. There is an emergency pod that is posted on the YouTube from Thursday, the announcement day. So of course you are welcome to review that. I mean, it's going to be tough to, I think, proceed as normal with this news, but I think a lot of us are trying to use it as motivation to just make these last matches the best they can be for all the supporters and everybody who comes out to watch Loyal at Torero Stadium. And to help us do that, I'm going to bring on our producer, John Cross. John, how are you tonight, sir?
I think all things considered, I'm actually pretty good. I would say I have made it through my stages of grief. I am at acceptance. How about you?
You know, no, I'm still pretty angry. I think I'm going to become one of those insufferable people on Twitter who use every opportunity to bring up the unfairness of the closed U.S. soccer pyramid. One of these really just kind of annoying people that use every opportunity to again point out the mediocrity that is First Division American soccer, how much better it could be, and how much better it will never be, because it's never going to change. We do have a third for our little pod here, veteran of local podcast, Dylan Wilson. Dylan, how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. It was good to get 3 points on the weekend. And I think, like John, I have moved into a place where I begrudgingly accepted what has happened. And I think in a weird way, almost feels like a bit of a weight has been lifted. Just because, with all the uncertainty this summer and hearing rumors and hearing, two balls talk about devastating news and kind of knowing what it was probably going to be about, but pretending that there was a chance it wasn't about what we all knew it was about. And I think that doing that dance was kind of exhausting. And while it was nice to still imagine a future for San Diego Loyal in its current form, I think in a way, once the Band-Aid's been ripped off, I can more truly just enjoy these last few games. So I recognize that's kind of a somber way to go into them, but I think it's just, you got to make it count. So anyway, that was a super long-winded answer, but I'm doing all right.
I promised in the intro that this episode wasn't going to be laments about the death of the club. But something you said, it really, when I look at Loyal and these last 4 seasons, right? Really, it was too good to be true, and kind of too pure to last, and flying so close to the sun in this just terrible soccer landscape that is the United States. I mean, what do you expect? This is just the latest in a long line of failed community clubs in an economic system that just does not reward anybody but those with the absolute deepest pockets. But you did mention 3 points. We are coming off an away win in Edinburg, Texas. That is in the Rio Grande Valley. in Texas, people just call it the Valley. But if you say that here, people don't know that you're talking like, what valley? Spring Valley, like Sorrento Valley. So anyway, down in the valley of Rio Grande, a pretty compelling match, I gotta say, with the back and forth nature of it, and a little bit of some, I don't know, some stones from the boys to see it through and get those points. I know you had your show already for the week, the Bums Breakdown show, but if you want to give me the Reader's Digest version of your impressions of that game.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was a good game. I think the first half, especially, we played really, really well, capitalized on our chances, created more good chances. Both of the goals we gave up were pretty frustrating. I think the first one was sloppy, and the second one, I think it was a penalty. I know some loyal fans will probably disagree with me on that, but
It was a penalty, yeah.
it was boneheaded from Stoneman. You can't be doing that. On the flip side, though, the way the team responded to giving up that penalty and conceding the goal, in the commotion and excitement at Gossip Grill, I did not clock how quickly we responded. It was less than 4 minutes on the game clock, I think. I don't think we've done that at all this season, and if we have, it's been scant. That shows some heart, and it kind of, I don't mean to like speculate too much about the mental state of other human beings, but it does seem like a bit of a switch from some of the trends we've seen this season, where we maybe give up late leads, or we concede a lead and then fold a bit. But I don't know. That toughness felt really good, especially in light of what was announced last week. So I hope that the players' mindset is in a good place going into these last few games. And I could totally imagine how difficult that would be. But it was good signs with 9 games to go. I've been saying this for like 10 weeks now, but we're still poised to make a run and get ourselves a home playoff game. But with 9 games to go, you're going to have to shut up and do it at some point.
How are you feeling, John, about Saturday's performance?
It was good. It was a good way. It did look, as Dylan said, like we may, or I guess as he alluded to it, we may run into these and horrible goals. And I agree with you that was a penalty. And I think he was trying to argue that he was looking at the ball and didn't realize the guy was there. But watching the replays, it didn't look like that to me. He looked like he was pulling sorry, Dylan. Looked like he's pulling a Harry Kane.
But, nope, 100%. I don't have to defend him anymore. Those are all fouls, and they should all be called.
So it was disappointing that we gave up a goal like that to give them a clear opportunity to get back in the match. But as Dylan said, we responded quickly, and Toomey had a fantastic game. It's good to see Domus get on the board, right?
Mm-hmm.
And first half, I thought we played really well in the first half, and then had some lapses in the second half. But I know we've talked about it before on other episodes of the podcast. We seem to be a better away team, and if they're going to bury us with the cup at the end of this season, then we're going to have good away results, because I think even if we run the table here at the end, it's still unlikely that we could host all the way through to the championship game. But I'd like to see us go on a run like OC's been on. Like we can do our 9-10 game run here towards the end of the season and march into the playoffs.
So we mentioned the Stoneman penalty. You mentioned Toomey Moshaban, who again put in a great performance. I'm really just kind of so impressed with his run of form, and I feel like I've been saying that for like 2 or 3 months now. He's just having a really good season. But so last week I was really upset about a blown off sides call against New Mexico that cost us that game. You know what? I gotta say, Toomey looked off sides that last goal. what are y'all's thoughts on was he or wasn't he? I feel like I've got to do this, right, in the name of integrity for how mad I was about New Mexico. It Toomey looked offsides the same way.
Yeah, I want to preface this by saying that like the USL does not have ample camera angles to give you a real picture, because there will be times where it looks super obvious and then you see a really good camera angle and you're like, oh, actually, I was wrong about that. I actually think the New Mexico guy, unfortunately, may have been offside, or rather onside. But again, you can't really tell with that camera angle. I agree with you. I think Toomey may have been a hair offside, but you know what? We've been at the receiving end of those. So I'm not gonna be too upset about it. Hell of a finish from Toomey and great pass from Elliot Collier. Got to give him the love there. That was a really, really nice pick out. So we will probably never know whether or not Toomey was really onside. But I agree. It maybe looks like he was a hair off there.
Yeah. When I saw it live,
I was just gonna say it's so great to be on the right side of a blown call for once, because it seems like we never are. I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
When I saw it live, I was certain he was. I didn't even celebrate. I thought he was off. I was like, "There's no way." And then they kept celebrating, and I was waiting for the flag, and then I was waiting for the reviews. Like, there's no way. But I did see a particular angle where Toomey, he ran right along the 18 until that ball was played. And when the ball was played, he cut in and the defender moved up. And right when that ball's played, they're even-ish, I guess is the best I can say. I mean, they, from a center camera angle, they look even. So it's really hard to tell, right? Because if we're using VAR and we're drawing lines whose shoulder or knee or foot or whatever is, closer or not closer. So in that sense, it was much closer than I thought it was watching it live. I thought watching the replay, he was going to be a yard or two off. That it was just an absolutely horribly blown call. But I finally saw a camera angle where I know he was even with that last defender, but without having a good camera right there on the 18, it would be hard to know if he was actually offside or not. But it was much closer than I thought it was.
I think at the very least, he did a good job of putting himself in a position where the referee felt they could give him the benefit of the doubt. And when there's no VAR, that's really what you got to be doing. It's not so much about like the clear, hard lines. It's just about like the perception, So yeah, I'm happy to go with the explanation that he was in fact onside.
So what about I think Dylan, did you make the watch party?
I did, yeah, at Gossip Grill. It was a great time.
So yeah, I did. I did not make it. A little difficult on Saturday to do that, but I'm really interested to hear what the feeling was at the watch party, the first big get together of locals and Javos and supporters since the big announcement.
Yeah, for sure. It was a little anxious maybe before kickoff. People kind of filed in a little bit late, like right as the game was getting started. And I know there was an NBC reporter there. His name is escaping me. I want to say Jeff, but that might be wrong. And he was doing some interviews with folks. I know Nick interviewed. I know Gabe interviewed. I know Erica interviewed. I'm sure that segment's probably online somewhere. I should look for that. But anyway, so it was a little, I don't know. It wasn't like sad before kickoff, but it was just kind of anxious probably. But once the game got started, honestly, it very quickly turned into a celebration of San Diego Loyal. Like it was really good vibes, especially getting the goal kind of early and then the other goal right after that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I learned, I didn't know this, but apparently in Hillcrest, they pour pretty strong. So that definitely contributed to the good time.
Well, we do have a, before I close the book on Rio Grande Valley, I want to make sure, John, are you ready to move on to what's coming up next? Do you have any final thoughts about the away win?
Oh, I just actually wanted to go back, not so much to the Gossip Grill, but I heard there were, and I see Jerry Ibarra is in the chat, that there were quite a few people that made their way to do some karaoke a little bit later, and I thought I saw Dylan. Did you make it to that or leave or
I
what part of
did,
that?
yeah.
Or-
I showed up a little bit late because I was in desperate need of some food, and I did not do a song, unfortunately. But yeah, I hung out for a good while. It was a lot of fun.
There are a lot of pictures there in Discord. Seems like people are having a good time. So much so, it sounds like people are already talking about after the next watch party.
Yeah, I would love to
Maybe
do it
going to
again. I'll
hit
sing
that up
next time.
again. But
Do some gin blossoms.
seems like people had a great time at the watch party.
So this week, the watch party will be in 109. What is next up for the boys?
We've got Birmingham Legion.
Are they good?
Yes.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because we
Yes.
lose to bad teams, so good or bad.
Sort of. Max and I actually, funnily enough, when we were recording tonight in our pre-show, lovingly or not so lovingly dubbed them the Loyal of the East because they're like horribly inconsistent and definitely have achieved below their squad level this season.
So this is a Sunday afternoon game. Our favorites under the California sun, like right under it. I mean, it's like right there. What's the plan on Sunday if folks want to get together before the match? I know there's been some discussion about parking lots. I don't believe that is for this game. I think that is coming up for the last couple home games. So I've been wishing that we would merge our watch parties since the team is going to be no more. But as of now, what is the plan for that pregame?
Well, the normal setup, right, 11-ish, because usually 4 hours before the game. So if you want to help with setup, and just a reminder, we only have a few home games left. So if you've never helped hang up the banners and come out there at setup, and you'd like to come and help us out, feel free to come out. We meet in the circle right near the parking structure there on the west end of the field. But double check Discord as well, just for any last minute updates or changes. That will be at 11. Pre-game will be at noon, still at a place to be determined because, Andrew, as you said, there have been a lot of conversations about trying to get everybody together and maybe alternating between Coronado and Deft for at least 2 of the home matches, this weekend being one of those. But I think those logistics are still being worked out. So
Okay.
I guess our default has been Coronado, but I would definitely check socials and Discord before the game because I could easily switch to Deft or maybe Deft for the next one. So we're trying to work out those logistics. And since you had mentioned it earlier, yes, final 2 home matches will have parking lots. So start planning ahead for that for the final 2 matches. So no parking lot this weekend.
Do y'all remember the first parking lot? Did either y'all go to the very first one?
March 7th?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
Do you remember how many fucking people were at that thing?
Yeah, man. I don't, obviously we don't have time to opine on this right now, but I think had the pandemic not happened, this might all be looking really different right now. It's just the energy that was there, like from the get-go. Yeah, man, it was pretty real.
The beer line stretched clear across the lot there. It was so long that you really had to get 2 beers when you finally got to the
front.
And
it's not because they were moving too slow either. It was just everybody getting beer, you know?
Yeah, it was incredibly packed. So many people. I ran into people that I didn't even know were going to be in the match. People I know from like my professional life and people I know from like my kids, soccer stuff, like just people I had no idea were going to be with this at the supporter party. And I just ran into them there. And yeah, that was a really, really fun experience. I hope maybe these last 2 we get that again because, whether you are moving on to MLS or not, it's not going to happen again for over a year, right? So that team doesn't start playing until 2025. So next season, I mean, unless we all jump over to Wave, then this is not going to happen again for a long time. So, yeah, I'm very optimistic that people are going to show up and that there's going to be a lot of energy. And I feel like what we saw Saturday in Texas, the team's resilience and the effort, you know, we've kind of talked a lot about like getting that fire lit on this team. And maybe this is what it took, as
All we had
horrible
to
as
do
that
was
is.
fold. Go figure.
All you had to do was tell everybody that they weren't going to have a job next season. And wow, it really changed the dynamic. So I am curious because, you know, it's not like there is another USL team coming into the league to supplant Loyal, right? And there are a finite number of roster spots throughout the league. I'm going way off script here. I don't know what is next on John's list of things we have to talk about, but I think this is a really good spot to ask, like, does everybody get a spot on the team next year? Are we watching, you know, Alejandro Guido start for Phoenix Rising next season? Are we watching Evan Conway play for Orange County? Like, what's next season look like for some of our favorite players?
I think that there will be a surprising amount of players on this roster that retire. I think there's a good amount of them that are in their late 20s and have started getting things going for themselves in other areas. And most notably, I don't. After the year he had last year, and he was open about it this past offseason, I just don't see Alejandro Guido leaving San Diego again. Maybe playing in Tijuana if they'll have him. I don't know. You know, that's up to him to decide. But just like, I'm just using him as an example. I just don't see him. Maybe Orange County, but like I just don't see him going to Phoenix or anywhere further afield. Like I think he's very settled here. He just launched his coaching thing and his tactical analysis thing, and it seems like he's really good at it. Not that I'm surprised. I always kind of got the vibe he'd be a coach. But yeah, I think a surprising number of players will retire or kind of sort of move in that direction. But guys like Evan Conway, I don't know if he'll get an MLS deal, but if I were an MLS team, especially one that maybe isn't at the top of the pile right now, I would look at that as like an easy value pickup. He'll be a free transfer. The guy is super talented. He's such an all-around striker. I'm consistently blown away by how good he is in the air, despite the fact I'm taller than he is. And like, I just think he's good enough to play in the MLS.
Oh, I thought he was 6'5". When are they saying that on the broadcast?
According to
well, and I'm 6'7". What are you talking about?
Oh man. Okay,
yeah.
we did not, and I'm feeling very freewheeling now because I don't know if this podcast also has an expiration date, but I'm just going to follow every little diversion that jumps into my head.
But bird walk
it.
all over
Go
the
for
place.
it.
Those announcers in Rio Grande Valley, man, I was dying because I feel like every player on the team whose name could be mispronounced was mispronounced
Guido
multiple times. The banter about Evan Conway's height was very strange. It was.
I must have missed that. Is that what you were referring to? I totally.
Yeah. They said he was 6'5".
Oh yeah, he's 6'4". Collier's 6'5".
Collier, yeah.
Collier's 6'5",
Right.
and Conway is 6'4", according to the RGV announcers.
Wow.
I think they said it the other way. They said Collier was shorter than Conway.
Well, that's just obvious when you look at them, though. So fair play.
Okay, I'm so sorry for that tangent.
No, you're good. I don't know. I was just kind of rambling, honestly. I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of free balling here. Yeah.
So this is
I think Koke's good enough, but I don't know if he'll get a deal either.
This is the guy that, like, I'm kind of the most. I mean, I don't know if he's my favorite player on the team. I don't know if I even have a favorite player, but he's the one that I'm going to miss watching the most.
He
Just
loves this club more than anybody else on the team.
he loves
Like
these
anybody.
fans.
Yeah,
He
100%.
loves the fans. It is undeniable. You cannot mistake what it means to that guy to play and to win in front of this crowd. It is just he has kind of ingratiated himself to these fans, unlike any player, and it's partly just his personality and his own charisma, and then it's just also his own experience and story coming out of Spain, where people were much harder on players who surrender, 5 goals to Louisville or whatever. Um, but then in San Diego, we, cheer him, regardless. And I feel like that is one of those things one of those moments for him, maybe that sold him on us. And it's just been, I'm going to miss watching Koke. I hope he has success wherever he goes next. You think he just goes back to Spain, or do you think he stays in the USL?
I don't know that he'd go anywhere else in the USL, if I'm honest with you. He was pretty clear when he signed that Landon Donovan was a big pull for him, and then he was pretty clear when he stuck around for a second season that it was because he loved San Diego. He might go back to Spain. Truthfully, and I know I just said this about Evan Conway, if I were an MLS team, especially one moving into San Diego, where this guy has just said he loves to be and is maybe going to have a year of an MLS Next Pro team or whatever, I would sign Koke Vegas. He, I think, has MLS quality. I don't know that he's like fully reached his potential yet, but goalkeepers peak late, I definitely think he's good enough, but I don't know that he'll get the deal. So I don't know what's going to happen with him, honestly. I will keenly follow his journey, though.
I think it will be one of those ways that we kind of, even when the team is, kaput, it is one way to continue to follow, is to kind of just follow these guys on their journeys through their careers. I think that's one way that a lot of us can kind of stay in touch and keep our community together, because Evan Conway's a young guy, like he's going to have a long career ahead of him, hopefully. So it'll be fun to watch. John, I'm sorry, I know you were about to say something.
Oh yeah, I was basically the same thing that you said. I think we will all follow whoever does continue their journey. We will follow them and keep tabs, and I'm sure when we see each other, talk about, hey, did you see Conway's goal for whomever he plays for next, or Koke's save or whatever. It's just going to be, like I said, we've all made connections with each other, right? The players have with the community, with the fans and the supporter group, we have with the players. So I think there's a mutual respect, and I think there will be a lot of people wanting to see how the players that continue playing, where they end up going, and how they do in the next stage of their journey.
So I'm going to pivot again because I started thinking about this next match, and there's a couple of great pieces of merch coming out, I think, Sunday. I've heard that it is the baseball jersey will be
Correct.
available for sale. But let me tell you what I'm excited about. We are finally going to get San Diego Loyal cards, soccer cards.
Trading cards, yeah.
So I don't know if these are like, upper deck, like Panini, or like, I don't know if these are like the super gloss. I don't know if I'm going to get a refractor. I'm hoping for some refractors, maybe some on-card autos. If they did the sticker thing, that's fine. Maybe some jersey swaths. I don't know if they're going all in on the cards. Whatever they are, I'm very excited to get a Koke Vegas soccer card because he will sign that. I will get that signed. I'm really stoked for these cards, and it's free for the first however many people
3,000
walk through that gate. So I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, these are limited supply, 3,000, and that's it. And I would think, I am not a collector, and I don't do much with trading cards, and I would, for me, happily pass on taking these so someone else who really wants them can have them. But I also could imagine with the history of this team and them folding and these coming out that these could maybe be worth something at some point someday for those who truly collect. So first 3,000 people into the stadium will
I wonder
get the trading cards.
if it's like how many cards. Is it going to be the entire team in trading card form? Are they going
I
to
do
hand out
not
a
know.
pack of every player, or will it be like a pack with like, oh, you get 5 of them, and then we all just have to Thunderdome it for to complete the set?
That's a good question. I don't know. I got the impression from seeing one of the videos that the team put out where the players were getting their samples that they looked decently thick, more than 5 cards certainly. I wanted to say more like 25 or something is what it
Okay, that's good.
what it
That's
looked
good.
like, but I don't know. I don't want to
Andrew's not going to have
give
to
anybody
fight
false
anybody.
hope.
That's good. I'm looking for that Xavi rookie card. You know, that's the one. That's the one to
Yeah.
keep.
Yeah.
So
great rookie.
that is Sunday. Setup is at 11 o'clock. Pregame TBD. This is an early kickoff though, right?
It's 3
Yeah,
o'clock.
3 o'clock kickoff.
And it's going to be sunny and not a lot of cloud cover, and it's going to be humid. So make sure you're sunscreening up or wearing your UV shirts.
But with an early match, and another thing, like we're trying to get people to go to the barking lots when we have those at the end in our pregame, since we are writing our final chapter here. Also trying to get a lot of people to go to O'Brien's. So since it is an early game, might be a chance for more people who don't normally go to O'Brien's after a match, since it's not going to be too late to head on over to O'Brien's after this early match, especially since many people will have Monday off. So it gives you a little bit of cushion there.
I think the catch is that the Wave play at home at 5 o'clock on Sunday.
Oh, they do. That's right.
A lot of people are probably going to be
Yes.
going to the Wave game.
Yeah, double duty.
I probably will head to O'Brien's though, just because for exactly the reasons you outlined. I don't have work Monday, and it's an early kickoff.
Yeah, so those are the big things for the game. The other thing I'd like to mention that ties into the game is that we're coming into September, which is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And if you didn't see the stuff that's been put out in the last few days from the team, all the proceeds from the single match tickets are going to go directly to Radies. All the merch sales, the in-game merch sales, are going to go directly to support Radies. That's the full, everything they raise from the match merch sales. And then all the online sales for this month are supposed to be going to Radies as well. And in addition to that, they're doing a foot golf tournament here in a couple of weeks on the 16th. So I wanted to ask either of you, have either of you ever been foot golfing?
Is that like a disc golf where it's like just like a stoner sport where like people are just
Yes.
Stoner sport.
Maybe a
It's
little
played
less
on a
than
golf
disc golf,
course.
but yes. And they have like special holes for it. Yeah, I've played foot golf quite a few times, and at Mission Bay, which I'm assuming is where they're going to do this
Yeah,
tournament.
it's going to be at Mission Bay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun actually, and I'm way better at it than real golf. But yeah, it's definitely more laid back than actual golf. It's kind of like
more
have a
laid
beer.
back than actual golf.
I know,
Golf is
believe it or
like
not.
you drive from hole to hole. Like
Believe
how
it or
much more
not,
laid back can
it's
it be?
more just the attitude. It's the
Okay.
approach. Yeah, yeah, the tournament should be a lot of fun. I unfortunately will not be able to participate because I won't be in the country, but I normally would be all over this. It's a great cause, and it's a good way to support a great cause. It's a fun way to do it. You're getting outside, having fun with your friends, drinking a few beers, presumably. So,
Yeah, if you want to do it, it's they're looking. You should set up a team of 5. The registrations are going to open up Friday at 10, and they're going to be done or you do your registration on the shop online. And there is, as anybody who's done any golfing, disc golf, regular golf, foot golf, it's limited the number of teams. They can't just have can't have too many people on there. You can't get everybody through the course and doing what you're doing. So if you're interested, get your team of 5 together. get signed up, but you can sign up as an individual, and they'll just take individuals who sign up individually and put them together on a team as well. But all those proceeds will also be going to Rabies for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So a great cause to get out there, great time to spend with friends and other soccer supporters. Get
And
out there and do some
Rady's
foot
a
golf.
sponsor that never bailed on this team, I will say. Still
Been
on
there
the
since the
sleeve.
start, yeah.
Well, and I think this is awesome. I mean, how much does this say about our club that we are in our final chapter here, and instead of cutting costs everywhere to the very end, like they've doubled down and are doing all this extra work to raise extra money for our community and those partners who have been there the whole time. So yeah, if you can help out, you want to buy something extra at the shop, I mean, everything goes back into our community and back to Rady's for this month. So find that gear you want, get out there and play foot golf and get some extra single ticket sales to the games. They all come back to Rady's.
I think it's a good example of how even in this club's twilight, this is why we all are so upset that it's going away. It's what it stands for and the backing up of what it stands for consistently. I love that they're going out with a bang like that. I have a lot of respect for that. And yes, heckling is encouraged, Erica. Thank you.
I'm pulling up this comment because I think this is something I might actually come out of my shell of my house. Not because I can participate, because there's no way. I don't think I could do a couple of holes right now. But I can come out and heckle, so I think I might be out there and sit at one of the holes and just see everybody come through, say hi, and give people some shit.
So I want to do a couple of shout outs, or at least one, because we haven't had a pod since this happened, but the locals Rocket League team is officially the champions of the Supporters Gaming League 2, winning against who was it?
I want to say Tigres, SG?
Maybe. Yeah. Winning a very convincing championship last week. I think it was Friday night. Very fun stream. And really dominant. Looks like they will be able to continue playing even if Loyal goes under, at least this calendar year.
Yeah, at least for one more Supporter Gaming League season.
So after the match, Kevin was interviewed by one of the hosting the stream, who I guess is part of the organizer of the league, and he said, yeah, so it's the same calendar year. If we have another season this year, locals can field a team. They will be playing in the League One. They will earn promotion to a more competitive league, which is really good because
what? Yeah, can you explain what that is, Andrew?
Oh, yeah, it's so weird.
Merit-based promotion?
Yeah,
what?
Can you believe it? But it's really needed because they really there were some matches this year that were just, it's they earned it. They really should be playing up in the first league, and they got a little taste of it. I think it was Sunday they had a friendly with the first team from Emerald City. So it's a lot of fun to watch those streams. The announcers can be funny. They try, sometimes. But I encourage anybody who wants to, keep this thing going. There is another opportunity. It may be in esports form, but it is fun.
I know Kevin, KJ, the captain's aspirations are to have two teams as well, one competing in the second division that we just got promoted from, and then one competing in the first division. And he and I briefly talked about this at Gossip Grill the other night, but I don't see any reason that the locals couldn't continue on in the Rocket League or Supporters Gaming League. if there's still a supporters group even after Loyal fold, unfortunately the landscape of American soccer has given rise to a lot of situations where supporters groups outlive the teams that they support. It's not impossible that this locals team either continuing as the locals or maybe merging with the Sirens, getting something like that going. Anyway, my point being that there will be continued opportunities to do this. I'm pretty confident in saying. So if you have any interest, literally regardless of skill level, like I said, we will have an A team and a B team. I will be on the B team, and I'm loving every second of it. Yeah, come on out. It's a great time. I think Kevin wants to plan like a Rocket League night just for the locals, just like get a private server going and get everybody in there, get like a nice 6-on-6 going or whatever, or however the max is. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, even if you're not good. Come on out and get better with us, Do
you have any shout outs, John, you need to do?
Just a couple more things. One, just to get on people's radar. So we do have the home match this weekend and then an away match next weekend, which should be at AleSmith for the watch party. And that should be the release of the
limited
Royal
release
beer.
now.
Yes. Right. But go and just get that on people's radar. I think there's going to be an additional watch party at AleSmith somewhere down the road. I know they're out, like what's happening at each of the rest of the away parties, but that's on the immediate horizon. Also, with everything winding down, there is a bigger and bigger interest of people attending away days.
Check your email.
So check email, check Discord. There's a lot of conversations. There's already people planning to hit Louisville. And I don't know about El Paso right now, but Monterey Bay is another one. But of course, the big one that a lot of people are interested in, because it is our final game of the season, is going to be away to Las Vegas. So if you're interested in participating there,
there's a survey
with the way talk is going, might end up being bigger than some of our Orange County trips. I don't know. There's a lot of talk here. So if you want to participate in any of those away matches, keep your eye on your email, keep your eye on Discord as well.
So yeah, I did get an email from the locals with a survey gauging interest in Vegas. Do you want to do a flight? Do you want to drive? Would you get on a chartered bus? Should we get a hotel block? So if you are a member of the locals, you got that email, respond to it and respond to that survey, because that'll give the leadership, a good gauge about how much organization they need to do, because previously Vegas has just been, piecemeal. We all, people go out there on their own and kind of throw things together. But if there's going to be a critical mass of us going, we can organize if we have enough lead time and make it something really cool.
Yeah.
Are you going to Vegas, John?
I barely get out of the house anymore. No, we'll not be going to Vegas.
Dylan, are you going?
This is going to be like my extent right now.
Yeah. Hey, that's,
I can get a chair. I can sit.
We could do that in Vegas too, to be fair. But
that is true. It's all the other stuff.
They have pitch side mattresses if you were unaware.
You know what?
At the stadium.
That's true. The little waiting pools.
Yeah, there you go. Get a nice warm one. It's easy on your joints.
Yeah.
But yes, I had not originally planned to go to Las Vegas because I will be getting back from Europe like just a week before that. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I haven't bought my flights yet, but I told my girlfriend we're doing this. Like, it's happening. She's agreed to it, so it's happening.
So I have a bit of a dilemma. My kid has a soccer game in LA, so pretty impossible to make that and the Vegas away. So it's not looking so good for me. Now, if the team bombs the end of the year, and that is the last game of their existence, I'll probably find a way to make it. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have a playoff game. I think we're going to have a home playoff game. I have a lot of very good vibes and good feelings, unlike maybe last week when we did the show, that this team is turning it around and that we are about to go on a run, basically due to recent developments. So I'm feeling much more confident about getting that home playoff game. So I'm not going to feel too bad about missing Vegas, but I know that there's some other folks in Discord that were thinking about, I don't know, canceling their wedding or whatever and doing it. So I'm not the most hard up person. It's not their wedding. I'm joking, but yeah, there's a lot of interest in this trip. It's going to be probably, 2 years ago, the Vegas trip was pretty. I mean, it was a big thing. I think this is just going to blow it out of the water. I think this is going to be a real, like take the next couple of days off of work type of trip.
Vegas, baby.
Right.
All right. So
I do have one
yes.
last thing, but I want to wait till I want it to be the last thing. So I just want to put it on the radar there. So if there's anything else to talk about, we'll get that out of the way, and then
it's time. Let's make it the last thing.
We're wrapping this up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so some people have seen either in Discord or maybe on change.org or maybe through Reddit or something, there is AFC Loyal, I think, like a fan initiated kind of either Save the Loyal or a supporter backed team. And just to be clear, this is not something that, I say a couple of things here. One, this is not something done by the locals. It might technically be someone who is part of the locals, but I have reached out to this person to try to get some information because as a concept, I do think this idea has merit, and it's something I have been investigating for a while, but I haven't for a while, since last Friday. I mean, deeply looking at it, is it actually a possibility? How realistic is it? And I wanted that to be something to bring up towards the end of the season, because we have agreed as leadership to not really discuss these things. So I'm kind of getting this out there to say, I don't really know who's behind that, but we are trying to save any conversations about the future of the locals and what we may do or how we may support or if we even exist at all till the end of the season. So we can just focus on the team right now the rest of the way. If you want to have side conversations around other things, great.
Hey, well, I'm not leadership. I'll talk about it all y'all want.
Well, in concept, I think it's something has merit, but there's a whole host of logistics and other things on whether that would be any realistic possibility. And I'm just afraid a group like this might poison the conversation for later. So I'm just getting it out there that I've reached out to them. I'm trying to get more information to figure out how serious they are, or if it's just someone on a whim just decided, I don't like that this is happening, so I'm going to start a change.org petition. I haven't heard back, but there are some people talking about it, but we want to save those conversations for later. And then once everything's done, have a serious conversation about what happens with the locals moving forward. So I just wanted to get that out there because I know that had been it's been floating around since the weekend here.
I'm really glad you said that, John. I think regardless, people might disagree with me on this, but I think this is one of those things where it's just too big of a deal and too kind of emotionally raw to really have these conversations in earnest right now.
Right.
So just don't stress about it. Like, that's something we can worry about in the future, but let's just enjoy the end of the year. I'm really glad you said that, John. Thank you.
Oh man, as soon as that last whistle blows, the Discord is shutting down. It's done.
Yep. That's it.
You're never going to see any of us again.
Never allowed to watch soccer again.
We'll never talk to any of each other again.
O'Brien's is shuddering. It's over. All right. So with that, let's wrap it up for this week. Dylan, where can people find you?
I am on Twitter. I refuse to call it by its new name because it's stupid.
Only Brian Krasenstein calls it.
Yeah, so
you're in good company.
or whatever. So yeah, I'm on Twitter at dwill94. That's DWIL94. As long as that's still a website or whatever. Still waiting on that Blue Sky invite. Losing a little.
Hey, I got one for you. I got one for you.
Oh yeah, send it my way. Send it my way. I'm losing a little faith that that's going to be the next big thing.
It's good. It's good. It's good. There's not enough people. Everybody's not on there yet, but it's good.
Get me on there. I'll Blue Sky up a storm. Anyway, yeah. So the Twitter is the place to find me. I am technically also on Instagram, but I don't really check that frequently. And then obviously Discord, I spend too much time on, but you all probably know that already.
All right, and you can find me, John Cross, on Discord at John Cross, and that's about the only social media that I do, at least under my name. So if you want to actually get a hold of me, that's the best place in Discord. And hopefully you can also find me out and about at an event coming up here towards the end. I am hoping I have the strength to make it out and do something here before it all goes away.
Well, I'm also still on the app formerly known as Twitter at Andrew P. Dyer. Can't miss me on Discord under my name. Also, if you can't get enough of my voice, check out the Voice of San Diego podcast this week. They invited me on after all this time, finally made it onto the Voice podcast to talk about Loyal. And it ended up being a conversation about all of the problems with the U.S. soccer pyramid. Believe it or not, you start asking me about this, and it's where I go. So, interesting conversation, and it was really interesting. The kind of questions that Jacob McWinney and Andrea Lopez Villafana were asking me, because they are not plugged in to soccer world. So it kind of let me talk about some aspects of this thing that we don't really get into on this podcast, because it's a totally different audience that we're talking to. So check it out. It's a good podcast, good local politics and civic affairs podcast. And yeah, so that's my last plug. We will be back on Tuesday. And Dylan, I think you said you've got a show dropping very soon.
Yeah, we recorded tonight. Max said he was going to try and get it edited tonight, so hopefully posted tomorrow morning. If not tomorrow morning, probably tomorrow evening. And we did have a special guest joining us, Mr. Chip. Chippa on the Discord joined us. He did that wonderful write-up a couple games ago. Some of you may have seen. So, yeah, it was good to have him on, and it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see y'all Sunday. Come out, support the team, and come to the pregame. Come hang out. But check Discord and socials so you know where we're at, because we don't even know it right now. All right. Next week, y'all.